What's good, y'all? We back on Planet Rell, and today I present to you Timeless, the prelude to Jet McKay's Avengers. Now, I decided to make this video so y'all can see how heavy of an impact the Twilight Court is going to have during this story. And if y'all watched episode 6 of Avengers, y'all saw that they showed up at the end of it. So hey, let's get into the story because this is their first appearance. So we start here with a prologue, and Kang is narrating about a time where there was a massacre at a college. And by the way he's talking about this college, it was a very prestige college. They went after information and knowledge from across the galaxy, but in one day, it was all destroyed. Also, it's unknown who destroyed all of it. Now, Kang heard stories of it when he was younger, and he wondered what made somebody destroy something that was so beautiful and had so much information.
And I started thinking to myself, man, what did he do to make them niggas that mad?
And lo and behold, it was Kang himself that did it. And he said he was even surprised when he realized that he did it. He was probably just sitting there like, oh, wait, I did do that. Oh, dang, I forgot about that. And Kang says there is nothing he doesn't call his, except for one thing. Then he starts talking to this dude, and he asks him, do he know who he is? And Buddy says his name, so of course he knows. Now Kang tells him that he travels through time as he sees fit, and every moment throughout history, in the past, in the future, is his, except one missing moment. Now the dude he was talking to realizes that he's looking for the missing moment. And Kang like, yeah, I'm looking for that, and no matter what I do, the 1 second is missing. He can't access it or experience it. Like, I wonder what has Kang done to access the missing moment. Now Kang tells bro like, dog, you know who I am, and you must not know the lengths I will go to achieve my goals when my plans go off course. Then he gets told about the missing moment, how it's the hitting starting point to the greatest prize in all of history. Then Buddy asks, do he want to know what the prize is? And he tells Kang, and as you can see, that boy Kang is shocked. I know on the inside he was like,
again, he flips it downfield and McClure.
Now Buddy like, yeah, that prize go crazy, don't it? And he tells Kang that he will be haunted by what is denied to him. Then he says the tribulation events must be met by heroes, not bloody-handed tyrants. He just cooked Kang, like lit that boy up and set him on fire. Now if you remember back during episode 2, Kang and Captain Marvel was talking, and Kang brought up the tribulation events. And he told Carol what the different tribulation events are. And you are going to see them during this episode. Now Kang gets told that the missing moment is not for a person like him, and that the prize will never belong to him. Then of course, Kang gets infuriated, and he blasts dude away. Now he's telling his goons to go get anything related to the missing moment. And the dude he was talking to like, what to do with the rest? And Kang tells him to destroy all of it. Now it's 1 year later, and Kang is talking about that time a year ago, and he said that wasn't one of his best moments, and most indeed not the proper actions by a conqueror. Then he reminds himself that he's not a god and not a powerful force in the universe, but instead a human. And Kang says he has powerful abilities like those type of beings, but he's still human. And to be human is to have passions. And what is humanity without passions? And Kang's passion has been slipping from him. He is getting bored. Kang is getting tired of the cycle of conquering, then being defeated. He strives to have excellence, but he ends up just wandering. Then he wonders if he has reached his own limits. And should he stop being Kang to be Immortus? And Immortus is another version of Kang. And that version of Kang is an actual future version of Kang. And Kang has had multiple versions of himself, like he's been Immortus, the Scarlet Centurion, and Rama Tut. Now since Kang brought up turning into Immortus, he says that's the reason why he must go after and find the missing moment. And going after what he can't have is the essence of Kang. Now he starts recording in his personal log about the missing moment still being gone from him. But it's revealed to us that the missing moment cannot be accessed through time travel, but instead it has to be unlocked and a key must be made to unlock it. But also, there are conditions that must be met, and there are tribulations that must be overcome. And the missing moment is the first step to the ultimate prize. Now Kang brings up the fact that the tribulation events must be met by heroes, and he mentions the different types of tribulation events that are going to occur. Then he wonders how will he meet the requirements of the tribulation events. So he questions himself, will he be the hero? And then somebody comes in and says that Kang will not be the hero, not more than him. Now Myrddin appears, and he knows that Kang is going after the ultimate prize too. And I wonder, how did Myrddin even get into his ship? Then Kang tells his room to delete Myrddin, but his stuff in his ship ain't working, and I'm just like, how? Then Myrddin says he's too smart for Kang's defenses, and that the wind whispers many things into his ear, even Kang's security codes. So I'm like, alright, bet. So bro just passed by just knowing security codes. Now Kang arms himself with a sword, and he says, bro, I've met the real Merlin, and you call yourself Myrddin, so let's see how you compare. No cap, that boy Kang talking his talk. Now they fighting, and Myrddin tells Kang that he's forgotten the most important thing about the prize, any prize to be exact. But Kang like, let me guess, I have competition because other people want it as well. And Myrddin is like, yeah. Then Kang, of course, says he has no competition and no equal. Then Myrddin responds like, oh, so this why you isolated yourself and kept yourself hidden for a year? And is that another reason why you're not any closer to the missing moment? Now I ain't gonna lie, that boy Myrddin is cooking Kang. I know that boy Kang was like,
Hold on a minute, player. Hold on a minute, player.
now Myrddin continues to cook Kang. He like, bro, is this another reason why you haven't understood the main aspect of the missing moment of the tribulation events? You were told that the missing moment is not for you. And Myrddin says it's for heroes. Heroes, like it's Twilight Court. And the Twilight Court was created to destroy Kang. Now y'all see these Twilight Court members have certain names next to them. And if y'all do remember this as well, the Avengers have the same thing. Now I'm gonna go from left to right to show y'all who has the same description. First up we have the witches, Mordred and Wanda. The icons, Parzival and Sam Wilson, Captain America. The kings, Arthur and T'Challa, Black Panther. The gods, Galahad and Thor. The engineers, Bedivere and Tony Stark, Iron Man. The constructs, Bersalak and Vision. And lastly, the stars, Lancelot and Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. So of course, seeing these descriptions in Timeless and then seeing the Avengers have the same thing, I'm like, they definitely gonna fight. Like, I don't know when, but they gonna throw them hands. Now I will say again, the Twilight Court did appear at the end of episode 6, so y'all need to go watch that and prepare yourselves. And I say that because the Avengers in the Twilight Court are about to fight each other. Like, it's about to happen. Now back to the story. Kang wonders how his security, that is very technological, superhuman, alien, and magical, could be compromised. Not just by Myrddin, but also the Twilight Court. Then he says Myrddin has immediate resources beyond his understanding. So now Kang like, yeah, y'all can have this ship. Then he gives a command to the ship to self-destruct. Then he teleports away. And as he's teleporting away, he sees multiple things that are going to happen in the Marvel Universe. And he says if Myrddin has the power to come at him at the heart of his empire, it makes sense that he will have the power to send the Twilight Court after him as he flees through time. And Kang like, if he want to seize the missing moment, then let him send his heroes into a tribulation event. And this tribulation event already happened. And if you want to see it, it's in episode 4. But if you want to see the whole story of the Impossible City, the full story is out already. And the link is in the description. Now Kang is on the run, and he says he's not used to being in this position. But fleeing the scene got him feeling a sense of exhilaration. And running away like this makes him feel alive. Then suddenly, Galahad shows up to destroy Kang. Then he starts to shoot these beams at her, Then she tells Kang that those beams are not enough to sear her skin. Then Kang realizes that she has DNA of an Asgardian, and he tells her that he wasn't trying to destroy her, but teleport her away. And now that she's gone, Lancelot shows up right afterwards. And she angrily tells Kang to bring her back. But he like, bruh, don't be a child. Then he realizes that she is a child. And she is artificially aged. So I'm assuming the rest of the Twilight Court are artificially grown as well. So then Lancelot attacks Kang, but he dodges and he puts up his sword. And he ready for the sword fight. So Myrddin says that Kang was quick when he fights. But Lancelot, you fight like a slow old man. And instead of saying an insult back, he just gives a compliment. And that made me think of this verse right here, bro. Cause if somebody insults you or say something about you, bro, sometimes you ain't even gotta say nothing back, cause it's not even worth your time or your energy. Now Kang talks about the different people he's trained under, and he said that he couldn't train nobody better than Lancelot. But Kang wouldn't train anybody to be a hero, and he wouldn't because nobody can be a great swordsman and a great hero. Kang tells Lancelot that a great swordsman must be ruthless. Then he teleports in bombs, and that causes Lancelot to go save the people, and Kang time jumps away. And now during Kang's time jump, he sees multiple things from the future again. And to my knowledge, these things have happened already because Timeless, this came out like a while back. But during this time jump, Kang talks to himself, and he realizes that the Twilight Court are really heroes. Like they were built to be heroes, and they have hyper-technological weapons. Then he questions who is Myrddin, and how does he have all of these resources, and how could he have so much power without Kang noticing? Now Kang says that Myrddin has put himself in competition with him, and that he must die. That boy Kang said he gotta get erased from history. Now we are out of the time jump at another tribulation event, the Death Moon. Now Kang asked somebody, y'all not gonna ambush me or attack me? And he was talking to Bedivere and Bersalak. And Bedivere like, what's the point? Because Myrddin told him where he was gonna go. So they just went there and waited for Kang. And since Bersalak doesn't speak, Bedivere does for him. And he says the blood of millions are upon Kang's hands, and it will be his pleasure to strike him down. So now Kang asks Bedivere, what tricks did Myrddin build into you? And Bedivere tells him that it was very few, but he got the knowledge to build his own tricks. Then he shoots at Kang with a blast, but Kang dodges it, and he like, yo, that's interesting. Now Kang puts up a force field, and he says that Bedivere's armor is technarchy derived, and Bersalak is a synthetic, and he don't even know where he at. Then Bersalak pops up behind him. He gets around the force field, and he touches Kang, and that causes Kang to have an immense amount of pain. Now Kang's system is failing because of a nanotechnological attack by Bersalak. Then Bedivere comes back with a sword, and he says that Bersalak is a nanotech hive entity, and what Bersalak is made of allows him to fold space-time. And Bedivere wasn't surprised that Kang got past Galahad and Lancelot. And that's because they are young and impetuous, and he says that's how a knight should be. Now he's saying that impetuousness must be tempered with wisdom, but Kang like, bro, don't talk to me about wisdom, because wisdom is earned, and it's earned on 1,000 battlefields and 1,000 worlds. Now Kang like, let me give you some wisdom. Then he calls out for a specific tool, and the tool is a sword, but it's not just any type sword. And with this sword, he stabs Bedivere. And this sword is the Black Knight sword, the Ebony Blade. And that sword can cut an atom if it needs to. And Bedivere never hoped to see this blade. That boy was scared. But Kang found the Ebony Blade 1,000 years into the future on a dead planet. And whoever had the sword went insane, had a psychotic break, and deleted everybody on the planet. Then they died themselves. And now we see Kang raise the Ebony Blade. And y'all already know what he about to do. And he says he only uses this sword on special occasions. And I know y'all peep Bersalak just standing there. But then he speaks. He says no. And he blasts Kang. And this part was funny because Kang got blasted as he was like, bro, I thought you couldn't even speak. But now Kang is in a whole nother time jump. And we see more things in the Marvel Universe. And to Kang's surprise, Berserk took over his system and sent him through that time jump. And Berserk sent Kang to Myrddin the witch. And Myrddin says Berserk sees time and probability in a whole different way to where the rest of the Twilight Court can barely understand. And now Kang trying to fight her, but she like, nah, I'm just a witch. I'm the chaos agent of the Twilight Court. Kang like, let's throw the hands. She like,
Nope.
so now Kang asks Myrddin, will she betray Myrddin? But she like, maybe. And she says the role that she plays was the Judas. And she says, how can she act any different? But she loves her King Arthur and the rest of the Twilight Court. And here's the kicker. She says Myrddin wants to control the Twilight Court. But she says he should because he created them. So she can follow his orders or betray him. Now she brings up how if Judas didn't do what he did to Jesus, there wouldn't be no resurrection. And that is the truth. Then she brings up the first Myrddin who betrayed his Arthur and how that brought the end to the Age of Camelot. So Myrddin is unsure if she should play the role of Judas by betraying Myrddin for the greater good, or if she shouldn't to keep everything that she loves. Now Kang gonna ask her if she thinks he's a villain. And she like, bro, I know you're a villain. Like she know what type time Kang be on. Then Kang tells her that he seeks what he seeks because he's a villain. And he tells her that Myrddin is doing it for the same reason. And with that information, she's gonna let King Arthur decide. Now Myrddin brings Kang to the rest of the Twilight Court on the blue area of the moon. And it's another tribulation event, the cannibal culture. And I know y'all peeped it too. Kang's system has failed. And she brought Kang there to Arthur to be judged. But Arthur like, hasn't he already been judged? Now Myrddin asks Arthur, are we knights or executioners? And should Kang have a courtesy of a trial? Or are we nothing more than Myrddin's headsmen? And I looked up the definition of headsman. It's crazy. Now Parzival comes in and he like, I want to try by combat with Kang. So Kang take off his mask and his helmet like, bruh, this a bet then. And Kang said he gonna beat Parzival to death to teach them why men fear him.
That's all. Listen to everybody. Nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do about it? Don't let no one come into your house, take your meal, do what you need to do today. I'm not nervous. I'm just telling you.
Now, as they about to fight, Kang says that this is bad. Then he starts to talk about how he has mastered multiple forms of combat, but he doesn't know what Myrddin built into Parzival because he is the perfect knight. And Kang throws up his hands and they get to work. And they pause on the fighting because Kang thinks Parzival is mocking him by what he is saying when he strikes him. Like, of course Parzival gonna think you weak because he's the perfect knight and he's dodging everything you throw at him. So Parzival like, bruh, I ain't even mocking you. I'm just being courteous. You fight well. And again, I will say Parzival is the perfect knight. And he says, victory will be his. And Kang wonders how. Is it probability manipulation, reality warping, or some type of X gene that was put into his DNA? But Kang like, let's see what fate has given us. And he knows he's at a disadvantage. And Kang swings on Parzival, but Parzival like, weave. And he starts to beat up Kang. And Kang says that Parzival's cause is just, and that he has shed barrels of blood in his pursuit of personal excellence, and blood the size of oceans has been shed in Kang's name. So now Kang asks Parzival why doesn't Arthur fight him, and Parzival says it will be unfair, and that's because he wears the armor of Cthon. And if you don't know who Cthon is, to sum it up real quick, he's a demon, a powerful demon. Now as the fight continues, Parzival says that Arthur was the first among the Twilight Court, and Arthur is the first to crawl out of the cauldron of rebirth. He was born flawed, weak, and frail, and that's because Myrddin didn't test his gene smithing yet. But Parzival says that it's his spirit and his nobility why he's their king, and that's also why he's not corrupted by the armor of Cthon. Now Kang just found a weakness based off what Parzival just told him. And he like, bro, Parzival, come with me, bro. I'll take you under my wing so you can serve a true lord of might. And Parzival like, yeah, you playing, bro. But Kang like, nah, bro. Myrddin is very unworthy of you. And he's a villain, just like me. And then he starts to talk about Arthur. Kang says Arthur is a weakling, a failed experiment, and that he's a puppet king because he's propped up with a cursed armor. And as y'all can see, That pisses off Parsifal, and now Kang has the upper hand. Now Parsifal is fighting very angrily, and Kang says that mastering pain is the first step to greatness, not just pain of the body, but the pain of hurt pride. And Arthur realizes what Kang is doing, and he tells Parsifal to stop fighting. Then Kang uppercuts Parsifal, and Kang says the moment you start to fight because of your hurt pride, instead of bringing a villain to justice, that's when your cause is no longer just. That man baited Parsifal, and Parsifal fell right into the trap. Now Kang like, Arthur, I just beat up your top dog, so what's the word? And Arthur says he's done it without honor, but with cleverness. Now Kang tells the Twilight Court that they are being used. Then he tells them that Myrddin created them to destroy him, and the reason for it was to claim the great prize. So Myrddin made his own heroes so they can do the work for him, so he can claim the prize. Then he tells the Twilight Court that Myrddin is just as much an enemy to y'all as he is to me. Then Myrddin teleports in and says that Kang is lying and stabs him through the chest. And Myrddin says that there are some things that he must do for himself. Now Kang falls to the ground and he starts to bleed out. Then Arthur is like, Myrddin, what you on, bro? He won by trial of combat. And this dude Myrddin says Kang is a serpent. He's not a man to be put on trial. He's a dog to be put down. That's crazy. But Kang like, bro, you can use them same words to describe yourself. And he says that Myrddin beat him this time, but he will prevent him from getting the prize, the missing moment, even if it comes down to his last breath. Then Kang tells Myrddin that he will never find the missing moment, and he teleports away. And he's now within a null time, no when and nowhere. And Kang pulled this move as a last resort, and it's not a part of his main systems, so that means Bersalak cannot touch him with his nanohive attack. Now Kang has been wounded very badly, and he has implanted failsafes within his body so he can heal, but they can only do so much. And Myrddin and the Twilight Court have done something that no one else could, and that is possibly ending Kang the Conqueror's life. But he has one more trick up his sleeve. If he is to prevent Myrddin from achieving the missing moment from beyond the grave, Kang must have his own heroes. Now this goes back to the end of episode 1 where Kang pulled Captain Marvel into the place where he was at so he can let her know what's going on. Now we in Myrddin's chamber, and he says that he hoped better for Kang. But Myrddin's victory was nothing more than assured, but he still hoped better for Kang. And Myrddin wonders what Kang would have said if he realized who he was. But in time, Myrddin will take off the mask. And that will happen when all the pieces on the board have been taken away and Myrddin is the only one that remains. And as y'all can see, that's Doom and that's Ultron, and Kang is down already. And I don't know who the other two are, I can't make them out. But I really wonder who Myrddin is. And I don't know when we gonna find out, but the story will unfold itself. So that's Timeless, the prelude to Jet McKay's Avengers and the origin of the Twilight Court. Y'all stay tuned for the next episode of Avengers, and y'all go see my other stories as well. I got more stuff coming on the way. God bless. I'm out.